Yeah, and this is where I kind of feel like Herbert deserves his own tier, but for the purposes of having the discussion, we should just probably put him clearly at the top of tier 3. And then I think this includes Tua, this includes Anthony Richardson, this includes Dak, this includes Deshaun Watson, this includes Trevor Lawrence. And I would probably cut it off at that point. And I don't care about the order. We're talking about tiers. So Lawrence, Watson, Dak, Richardson, Tua, Herbert. I put Herbert above those guys in a different tier because he's had a couple of 26 fantasy point per game seasons already. And I'm willing to give him a little more of a pass on last year. But I think any of these guys could reasonably jump into tier 2 this year.
Okay. Justin Herbert, Deshaun Watson, Tua Tagovailoa, Anthony Richardson, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence. And Heath is not really so concerned about the order. This is just the group of 6 that are in this tier, with Justin Herbert really in like tier 2.5. Jamie, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, disagree. Again, I would put Herbert in the tier above, but I think, these are the guys that either, in the case of Lawrence, Richardson, and Tua, these are the breakout candidates. And so those are the guys I think that have the chance to certainly not necessarily jump a tier, but by the end of the season, you'd be pretty thrilled if they play a full season and play to their capabilities and obviously play to their ceilings. If you want to throw Watson and Dak in there as well, I think those guys are going to be very, very polarizing for a lot of people because of what Deshaun looked like last year. And then obviously Dak and just, people just feeling like they're sort of out on him. But sure, if you want to put these guys all in one group, I don't have a problem with that.
All right, Dak Prescott, not really a great season, especially from a touchdown standpoint, and he was still QB9 per game. So Prescott and Watson are 2 players that we've actually seen with top 5 finish. Oh, and Herbert, sorry. So Herbert, Watson, and Dak have done it before.
Right.
Tua, Richardson, and Lawrence have not. Does that matter at all when you look at this group?
I mean, I think it matters more because I would probably agree that Tua, Richardson, and Lawrence have more upside than Dak and Watson this year. But those guys have not shown for more than 4 or 5 games any reason to think that they will make the leap into tier 2. Whereas Prescott and Watson have actually done it.
With all 6 of these players, Herbert, Watson, Tua, Richardson, Prescott, Lawrence, do you feel fine with them as your only quarterback?
Lawrence, without hesitation. Watson and Dak, yes. Richardson and Tua, no.
Agreed.
And obviously Herbert, yes. So Herbert, I think when you look at I looked at the last 5 years and some of the biggest surprises at quarterback, and there were a couple of things that really stood out. Well, 3 things. Okay, 1, you've got the young breakout player. That happens. 2, and when I say surprises, I mean guys who really outperformed their ADPs and had great seasons. Players with new offensive coordinators is, Dak Prescott, Ben Roethlisberger in 2018. They got rid of Todd Haley and went to Randy Fichtner or whatever. Randy Fichtner.
And he was Ben Roethlisberger.
What did I say? Oh yeah. But he threw the ball 114 more times than he did the year before. Dak Prescott. When Dak Prescott went from being this fine 23 touchdown pass guy to a guy who threw for like 4,900 yards and 30 touchdowns in 2019.
And by the way, the guy that did that is now going to be with Justin Herbert.
Absolutely. And also veteran bounce back. We tend to discount older guys, but some of the guys who have been the best ADP overperformers in the last 5 years have been Aaron Rodgers, have been Tom Brady, Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan went from an MVP season in 2016 to a pretty bad season in 2017 to being QB2 in 2018. He was an amazing value, and he was QB 13 in ADP. So Justin Herbert, I would say, checks 2 of those 3 boxes. He's got the new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and he's kind of like not nearly in the same part of his career as a Matt Ryan or an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady, but he was QB2.
But he doesn't fit the thing we're talking about. Guys who surprise and outperform ADP.
If he's really QB6 or 7, then you're right. He's not like QB9 or 10. I wish he were going lower, but he could still finish as a top 2 QB. He's done it before. Maybe he was 3. He could still dramatically outperform his ADP. I think anyway.
I couldn't agree more. I think to me, he's my favorite value at the position.
Okay. Let's go to tier 4 then, Heath. What do we got in tier 4?
Tier 4 is kind of the boring guys: Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith. I don't know where I'm supposed to put Kyler Murray in this group. He probably is another guy like Herbert who kind of deserves his own tier, because if he's 100% for week 1, then he should definitely be in the earlier tier. If he's going to start on the pup, then he doesn't belong in this tier.
So Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith. Is that what it was?
Do you see what happened with Will Brinson and Kyler Murray?
I sure did.
No, but
So
I can't wait to hear it.
Will did quarterback tiers for the site from a reality standpoint, and he broke them down into like certain categories, and he gave, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, but he put Kyler in like the last tier. I don't know what to do tier.
Right. His tiers were so different than, it wasn't even based on performance. It was just like, it was just interesting categories. So where was Kyler Murray? He was in the no clue, man. Like, just didn't know what to make of them this year. Doesn't know if Kyler Murray's going to play. So
when you see it, you're obviously just looking at the tiers. When you read it and hear him talk about it, it's a little different. He explains it. If Kyler is right, he's in 5 tiers up. So Kyler just saw the tiers listing and he made a comment about it, and then it blew up everywhere. So.
Yes, I saw it in the New York Post, and I sent it to Brinson. I was like, "You made the New York Post," and like he has his quarterback tiers have, like, Daniel Jones is higher than Dak Prescott because the tiers are just different. Daniel Jones is in the intrigue with question marks, with Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson. And then Dak Prescott is in the you can win with them category, which is actually lower than the intrigue with question marks one. So it was a fun article. If you just retweet the image, the graphic that was made on social media, and don't have any of the context, you will lose your mind.
So
I'm looking at Kyler's tweet, and that's what he's tweeting off of, just the list.
Yeah.
Where he is in tier 6.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, tier 6 of 7. Right above the rookies, and he just, with 3 crying laughing emojis, said, "I love it."
Right.
So I'm going to move Kyler Murray up now. No, but I think like Jamie's early comment at the top of the show that tiers are just kind of rankings, but broken into groups, does not appear to be true for Will's tiers. Those are not rankings. They're broken into groups at all.
No. It's almost like, what stage of your career are you in? Those are Will's tiers. But for this tier, Jones, Cousins, Rodgers, Geno Smith. So I just asked you if you felt good with just Herbert, Watson, Tua, Richardson, Prescott, Lawrence as your only quarterback. And for some of them, you said yes. Does that apply to any of these guys? Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith.
I think
as your only quarterback, I think these are the guys that you want to pair with the questionable guys in front of them. That's what I would love to do. I draft Richardson, I'm looking for Geno Smith. I draft Tua, I'm looking for Aaron Rodgers. I'm looking for those safe, reliable guys that have shown, obviously, for their entire career, mostly Aaron Rodgers, or at least, the ability last year. And I think you make a case that, Russell Wilson and Jared Goff probably belong in this group as well. But, the guys that have the chance to still be safe starters, and again, we saw it last year that can they hit the 20-point threshold consistently? Geno Smith did that. I think Aaron Rodgers, you should feel comfortable with him hopefully doing that. Kirk Cousins, they're going to throw the ball so much. There's a lot to like there. And then Daniel Jones with his legs. So this group is the perfect wait for quarterback group. So if you're still in that camp that you want to wait and be the last person to draft your starter, this is the group you're living in.
So Kyler Murray, we're just going to leave out of this group for now. It's Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, and Geno Smith. Who has the most upside?
Cousins.
I'm going to say Cousins too, because I do think it's unlikely because of how much they threw last year, but I do think it's possible they just throw even more. And he has Addison, who's better than Thielen.
Why is it not Aaron Rodgers? We've already played this game with Rodgers before, and he, won 2 straight MVPs.
I don't think they're going to throw as much, and I think it comes down to, at his age, does he still have that level to get to again? I think you got to be excited about Garrett Wilson just based on he went from a 2-time MVP, lost Devontae Adams and struggled, and now he has, a guy that not necessarily at that level, but that caliber of player. He's reunited with Nathaniel Hackett. Whatever you think of him, his best years have come with Nathaniel Hackett. And you hope motivation. You hope that he's going to a situation where, okay, maybe he was a little disgruntled last year and just kind of went through the motions, and now he's, back to being that MVP caliber quarterback. So he was the other guy that came to mind when you asked the question. But I think Cousins has, I think, just a little bit higher ceiling based on what's happening for him and the team that he plays for.
Yeah, the other guy that I hesitated not saying, and I really don't know what to do with is Geno.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
I think he was the best of this group last year, and then he added Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like, it's hard for me to believe, and I don't ever bet on guys like that, and that's why he's in this tier. But it feels like he's being shorted a little bit here.
Okay.